DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ, or Iglesianicristo.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to New Jersey Satellite Studio, where we show you the flavor of life here in the District of New Jersey. And welcome back to INCRadio New Jersey Satellite Studio, where not only do we show you the flavor of life, but we learn together, and I believe we have an interesting topic today. What do you think, Leia?
Okay. I was gonna say I don't want to I don't want to ruin your joke. Well, we're talking actually about eyes today. So for those of you who saw Jeff's intro, he's not doing anything strange with his eyes. Our today's topic is actually about eye care. So eye care. I don't want to touch my eyes the way you did.
Oh.
I'm not one of those people who's afraid of eye drops, but I don't like touching my eye area just in case. Because I'm a rubber.
Yeah.
I'm a rubber, so I try not to touch my eyes. All right. So actually, and it's not just you and me talking about our eye concerns, Jeff. We're actually being joined today by special guest, Zafan Bergado, doctor of optometry, and she is from Delaware. Thanks for joining us today, Zafan. We're so excited to have you on because we know that from the last time you were on, it's been a few years.
I think 2 years, yes.
2 years, and there's definitely been a lot of update in technology and medicine. So we're excited.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you for having me again.
Yay! I know. Can you come all the time? Like, can I see you privately as well? So, like, are these good glasses?
Feel free to come see me in Delaware. I'll be happy to see anyone.
We'll do a road trip. Okay, so we're gonna start off actually, if our tech is ready, with the eye presentation for basics of eye care, etc. So whenever you're ready, to our tech, here we are. All right, and that is you. So eye care discussion, and let's go to the first slide. So talk us through this. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So my presentation will be pretty straightforward today. First slide really talks about the inevitable screen time that we all have. Most of us, are students. We work desk jobs. I'm in healthcare and I still have a lot of screen time. So, we always talk about blue light blockers, blue light filters. So this essentially is talking a little bit more about that trend going on, especially with the onset of, the pandemic in 2020, a lot of people working from home. The artificial blue light that comes from our screens, it can definitely worsen your symptoms of eye fatigue, eye strain. It can even disrupt your circadian rhythm or your sleep cycle, which is why people will recommend, don't stare at your screens right before bedtime. It might be harder to fall asleep. So essentially, those blue light filter glasses that are $10 on Amazon, are they worth it? And so let's see. I mean, so we all probably have a pair, and whether it works for you or not, it can depend. But the science behind it right now, at least with the few studies that have been published, it shows that there's not that much significant reduction in eye strain or eye fatigue but by wearing those digital eye strain or blue blockers in your glasses. So whether it works for you or not, it could possibly be a placebo effect, which, the brain is a very powerful organ. So if it works for you, great, keep using it. But again, it's not something that would be absolutely mandatory. I don't always recommend it for my patients. So those blue light blockers or those blue light filters, what do we do in lieu of that? I would say definitely just be more wary of your screen time. So reduce your screen time, take more frequent breaks throughout your day. So if you do work like a desk job and you're sitting in front of your screens for 8+ hours a day, make sure you're taking more frequent breaks by looking away. We have the 20-20-20 rule that we recommend. So for every 20 minutes of screen time, maybe just look away for about 20 seconds. Utilize that window that you have in your room. Maybe look out that window every 20 minutes. Just look at something far off into the distance, and it can help reduce your eye fatigue throughout the day.
Okay, so for the 2020 rule, does looking away from your computer monitor and then onto your phone, does that count?
That does not count. You have to be looking. You have to be looking at a far distance in order for the focusing system to relax a little bit. So when we stare at something close up, it causes your eyes to work harder. And then when your eyes are looking far away, it's called divergence, and your eyes can relax during that 20-second break.
Okay, so that doesn't count, everybody. So if you take a break from your computer monitor and look at your phone, that's not a break.
Not a break at all. Not a
So
break
you
at
have
all.
to look far, far away. Look
Yeah, far away,
outside.
like at my hopes and dreams, right?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that's out of a window, Jeff. All right. So just to recap that first slide, so you could decide. I don't know how much Jeff spent on his glasses, the blue light filtering glasses, but I think $10 for the placebo effect. That's, I think, for some people, especially if they make you feel cute or more
Yeah.
confident in the workplace.
Exactly.
Something
So
to
if it makes you happy, and those blue light blockers that you got are, if you feel like they're working, then great, keep using it. I never discourage it. If it works for my patients, I try not to, dampen their happiness. And if it works for them, I tell them to keep using it. But technically speaking, we really cannot escape blue light. In fact, the largest source of blue light is directly from the sun. So you really cannot escape blue light.
Oh,
So live in an underground
that
cave
no, that's not good for you either.
or
You need
use.
fresh air.
Yeah, and just for any of those who are wondering, these are the glasses that Zafon's talking about. Hopefully, I do look cute with it. Just kidding, I don't know.
You look great.
All right, well, we'll leave that to Team Live Chat, Jeff. All right,
Yeah.
so let's go back to our presentation. Now we're going to go on to eye health and contact lenses.
Of course. So many of us are contact lens wearers. In fact, I'm wearing contact lenses right now. I'm mostly a glasses wearer, but on the weekends I like to wear contact lenses. A lot of us forget that contact lenses are indeed medical devices and that we shouldn't be overwearing them or abusing them. So it's important to kind of just touch up on our contact lens hygiene rules. So I would always recommend removing your contact lenses at the end of the day. So it's never a good idea to sleep in your contact lenses overnight unless approved to do so by your eye doctor. So in some cases, there are some of my patients, like a small handful, that are approved to wear contacts overnight. But you should never do this unless you're approved. We should also never do any water-related activities in our contact lenses, such as swimming, hot tubs, even showering.
Really?
Yes,
Wow.
because there are, if you think about it, there are tiny microbes and microorganisms living in our sewage systems and our water. So obviously, like lakes and oceans, those aren't clean. But even like pools, they're not going to be perfectly clean, even with the chlorine cleaning system. So one of the main microbes that can cause contact lens related infections is an organism called Pseudomonas. And then another one that could be very rare but very painful is another organism called acanthamoeba. So if there's any like microbiology nerds out there that want to know more about that. So yeah, Pseudomonas and acanthamoeba are going to be the main suspects for causing contact lens related ulcers, infections, conjunctivitis. So we never want to sleep overnight in the contact lenses, because your cornea, or that front surface of the eyes, there could be lack of oxygen to that area. You can cause scarring to the cornea, which could lead to permanent vision loss if the scars on the cornea are large enough. We've definitely seen, young patients and young people ruin their vision, ruin their eyes, because they're wearing like cosplay contact lenses that they got online. So just be careful if any of
I
you
love those.
Yeah,
But there's I don't understand how they can make your eyes look so big. So maybe that's why they're not meant to be worn for a long period of
correct. So
time.
those cosplay contact lenses online, just be very, very careful. I would highly discourage people from using them. They're not FDA approved. Again, contact lenses are medical devices, and those ones that are for cosplay are just for fun. So if you really want to do like colored contact lenses, there are FDA approved colored contact lenses that we can fit in office at your local eye doctors. So if you really want to change things up, like, yeah, I used to wear green contact lenses back in the day when those were like all the rage. So if you really, really, really want to try colored contact lenses, stay away from those random websites that are shipping you contacts from like overseas,
Oh.
and just go to go to the eye doctor and they'll get you.
Or going into the Asian Mart stores that carry them now.
Yep,
Yeah.
and the beauty
So
stores, things like that. So
okay.
those are
Or the
not.
street corner. Yeah.
No one's selling contact lenses on the
Yeah,
street
I mean,
corner.
you'd be surprised where I've seen
Ah,
contact lenses. So it's just, it's just be very careful
yeah.
because they might not fit your eye a certain way, and they might not have that. Um, they might not allow oxygen to flow to your eyes in a proper manner. So it's just very risky.
Yeah. Okay. So before we move on to the next part of the presentation, just a question about I know someone's asked me this for disposable contacts. Can you use it more than one day if you clean them?
I wouldn't recommend it. So I do wear daily disposables. They're going to be the best option for contact lenses because, as you know, there are like monthly disposable, 2 week
Mhm.
disposable, and then the daily disposables. The daily disposables are meant to be daily disposables for a reason. Essentially, the technology allows that contact lens to feel comfortable for just that day, and after that day,
Starts to
pretty much.
degrade.
Yes, the moisture is pretty much sucked out of the lens from like a whole day's worth of lenses. So the dailies I'm wearing right now, I would not recommend using them tomorrow because they just won't feel the same. If I tried to save these for tonight and use them for tomorrow, I probably could get away with it here and there if I was like in a pinch, but it's not something I would regularly do because these would probably feel like sand in my eyes tomorrow.
Ooh. Okay.
Hmm.
All right.
Yes.
So don't try to save your dailies by cleaning them,
Yes.
everybody.
Yes.
And also regarding conjunctivitis, just real quick, we are going into allergy season, and so is this on our rundown? I don't want to preempt, but is there a proper way or a better way to clean your eyes if you feel like you are getting something, pink eye, conjunctivitis? Do you have any quick tips for us?
Generally speaking, I think rinsing the eye is a good idea. So yes, there's like pollen in the air this time of year. So if you feel like something flew into your eye, or maybe you touched a surface and then touched your eye, and just it just feels off, a saline eye wash is pretty safe for the eyes. Saline is just salt water, and your tears are pretty much salt water in their composition. So you can get a bottle of saline from the pharmacy, just kind of spray it into the eye or squirt it into the eye, doing like a quick cleanse, a nice thorough quick cleanse. And then also like a home remedy for any like swelling of the eyes, obviously allergy medications, but there are also allergy eye drops that are over the counter. So any antihistamine is going to be really good for reducing allergy like symptoms. So if you feel like you've rinsed your eye, it's still not enough, you might want to reach for an antihistamine eye drop. One of the popular ones is called Pataday.
Oh, so Pataday is not the same as the one that takes the red eye, the red
So
out.
Visine.
Yeah, and I know there's another one, but
And I
yeah.
heard that's actually not recommended. My eye doctor said
Absolutely
that.
not recommended. You will probably never find an eye doctor who will recommend the brand Visine. They
For
they don't tell you
real?
this because Visine is so good at that company is so good at marketing. They have the
They
best.
are.
Yes, they have the best commercials. They have the best ads. When you go to the eye drop section of the pharmacy, the Visine is at eye level, so that's the first thing you're going to gravitate to, and it's cheap too. So Pataday is expensive, but it works the best. It used to be a prescription strength drop a couple of years ago. So if you are interested in doing any over the counter antihistamine, I would highly recommend Pataday, or the generic version will be olopatadine. But that's going to be the really the only recommendation. And if the Patadine is not strong enough, the eye doctor can prescribe ophthalmic steroids, so steroid eye drops if needed.
Okay.
Oh,
Yes.
and will that make your eyes like more muscular and stronger, or
Unfortunately, not. It'll just reduce the inflammation caused by allergic conjunctivitis. But we usually don't prescribe a steroid unless it's absolutely necessary. So usually over-the-counter therapy will be the best. Another home remedy would be like a cold compress. So cold reduces swelling. So if you have like a little bit of swelling on the eyelids from allergies, then I usually recommend a nice cold compress for a couple minutes per day as well.
And don't wear your contacts if your eyes are in that condition.
Correct. Yeah, it's generally a good idea to stay out of contacts if there's any pain, irritation, redness, or swelling until your eyes are back to normal.
Okay. Good to know, especially for all the allergy sufferers. Our season is coming up, so
We're
Absolutely.
starting early.
I know.
it is. We had fall spring this week. We're going to have it again next week, so it's better to be prepared. Thank you for those recommendations. All right, now we're going to turn into something that we don't really like to talk about, but we know it's out there. We know it's in our families. We have friends who are diabetic.
Yes, diabetic eye care is the main bulk of today's topic because it is so important. I see so many diabetics in one day of patient care, and people will often say, "Well, it's diabetes, it's my blood sugar. Why do I have to get my eyes checked? What's the correlation?" And there's a huge correlation. So essentially, we all know what diabetes is. Unfortunately, it is a disease that can be genetic or it can be caused by our lifestyle. But essentially, sugar builds up in our bloodstream. And that elevated blood sugar in the bloodstream could cause damage to the many blood vessels and nerve structures all throughout the body. And yes, including the eyes, because the eyes are a very highly vascular organ with tons of blood vessels. So that's why the eyes can be susceptible to retinopathy from diabetes. But essentially, retinopathy is just a disease to the retina.
We actually have a slide for that.
Yeah.
So just to explain what diabetic retinopathy.
By the way, all these big words that Team Live Chat, you need to learn how to spell. We're not going to spell them for you.
I know.
So,
But we're going to go
uh,
back to the presentation so no one can see me slurring my words. So yeah, so it's the next
Yes,
slide. Next page. There it
there
is.
we go. Yes.
okay,
So
it's spelled there. So, Team Live Chat,
yes, so
you get a
these
bonus point.
the
Sorry.
slides will be nice because there's a lot of pictures coming up. So rather than me just like blabbing on and on about what diabetic retinopathy is, it's going to be nice to actually see it. So essentially, the retina is the inside lining of the eye, and these blood vessels start to change if the sugars are too high in our blood system. So let's look at the next slide. Where there's going to be three main structures that I'll be talking about today that can be affected by diabetes. Number one, the retina, again, the tissue lining the inside of the eye. The second structure that'll be affected is the lens, which is a clear structure inside of the eyes that allows us to focus. Each of us have a lens inside the right eye and inside the left eye. And then lastly, your optic nerve. The nerve is a structure that connects our eyeballs all the way to the brain. So essentially, that'll be the last structure that I'll talk about. But onto the next slide, we'll see those two pictures there, where on the left side, you'll see a absolutely normal and healthy retina. Blood vessels look great. This person's healthy. And on the other side, we're going to see a retina with diabetic retinopathy. It just essentially means that the blood vessels have started to leak blood. And also there is swelling of the retina, meaning that there's lack of oxygen to this tissue. But essentially, this person with a diabetic retinopathy, they're either not taking very good care of themselves or their medications are not working.
So is that the part that looks like fireworks?
Exactly. So the white portions in the center, those are going to be leakage of the retina. So fluids are starting to leak. And then the little red streaks are hemorrhages of the retina. So the blood vessels are no longer able to contain the blood. And now the blood is just, just kind of coming out of the blood vessels.
Scary.
Can be
Okay.
quite scary. And the thing is, with this patient, it does look bad, but this person has no idea that this is going on. This doesn't
Oh,
cause, there's no pain. There's no pain involved with diabetic retinopathy. They can also have pretty good vision with diabetic retinopathy. So these things are not caught until the person goes in for an eye exam.
oh wow.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So this next
Oh, and there's
slide.
more.
It's
Yeah.
this is just kind of like a cartoon version of it. So like an artist rendition where there is non-proliferative and then proliferative diabetic retinopathy. The main difference is that there's just abnormal blood vessels occurring in the middle picture. These abnormal blood vessels are growing because there's such little oxygen getting to the eye that the eye is starting to create new blood vessels. We kind of call it neovascularization. This person in the middle slide is, or in the middle picture, is likely going to need injections in their eyes to treat their diabetic retinopathy, unfortunately. So a combination of injections to the eyes and lasers to the retina can stop the proliferation of the diabetic retinopathy. So it's quite sad, but this person probably has a very poor prognosis in terms of their vision.
Okay, so let's pause for a second. All right, so diabetic retinopathy is not, you don't have any symptoms. Your vision
Sometimes
can
no.
be okay. Like if you don't know you're diabetic and you already have diabetic retinopathy, this is something seeing you for an eye exam can inform them of, right?
Correct. Yes, it's just I've had a few patients walk in just coming for routine eye exams, just wanting to get glasses, and then they end up leaving with with an order to get blood work done because I'm like, okay, sir, ma'am, you have things happening in the inside of your eye, and we highly suspect diabetes. And they say, no, I'm not diabetic. And they're like, well, according to your exam, I think you are. So, and then they'll go to their doctor, get the blood work, and then it'll confirm the diagnosis. So it's something that, yes, can be caught on routine eye exams, even if they have no idea it's happening to them.
But this is something that's primarily for actual diabetics, not pre-diabetic. I mean, a lot of people are pre-diabetic, but you can start to see the changes in the eye at that
Correct.
point. Okay.
Correct. Yes. Usually it's diabetics with like a previous diagnosis, but pre-diabetics, if this is happening, it's likely it's not pre-diabetes anymore.
Oh, sad. Okay. All right. So let's finish up our diabetic talk, and what else
Sure.
happened?
Second structure that can be affected are the lenses inside of the eyes. So, this is a picture of someone with a brown iris, a brown colored eye. So behind the brown iris is the lens. And again, when we're born, we have a clear lens. And then diabetes, if the sugar is too high, it causes the lens to form cloudiness, essentially a cataract will form. Everybody actually will develop cataracts someday. It's a natural age-related thing that happens to all of us. However, cataracts will happen earlier in patients who are uncontrolled with their diabetes. So instead of needing cataract surgery in your 70s, which is pretty typical, a diabetic with uncontrolled sugars might need cataract surgery in their 40s or 50s, which is fairly young. Symptoms can be hazy vision, cloudy vision, increased glare at nighttime. So these patients, again, will need cataract surgery earlier on in their life.
All right. We have one more, I think, visual, a few more pages. Then we can
Yes.
go back to our rundown. Yeah.
Yep. The last structure. So the first two we already talked about, the diabetic retinopathy in the first picture, the cataracts in the second picture. Glaucoma is a little bit more obscure, but essentially glaucoma is also a disease you cannot feel. But diabetes can have complications where the eye pressure can increase, and the increased eye pressure will crush or damage the optic nerve. And again, the optic nerve connects your eyes to the brain. So when the optic nerve starts to have damage due to the high eye pressure, this leads to glaucoma, which is irreversible damage to the optic nerve region, which could cause permanent vision loss. So typically patients with glaucoma, they'll need therapy with eye drops. Eye drops can lower eye pressure, and sometimes laser procedures done to the eyes can lower eye pressure as well. But unfortunately, at this time, there is no cure for glaucoma. So if there's any damage to the optic nerve, again, it is irreversible, but the eye drops can lower the eye pressure, and that can reduce the progression of the disease.
Okay, so we have a lot of questions to ask you, Zafan.
Yeah,
Okay.
So
15 live chat. So
for
yeah.
glaucoma, if you start to feel eye pressure, are there other symptoms that we can identify? Like, do you get like a headache? Do you start to
Um,
see spots?
Eye pressure is tricky because for the most part too, you don't really feel glaucoma unless the pressure is really, really, really high. So normal pressure for adults can range from 10 to 21. Even if your pressure is 30, that's abnormal, but you're not going to feel that your pressure is 30. Essentially with glaucoma, it's also something we catch in clinic. If you have very, very high eye pressure, like in your 50s or 60s, that's when maybe you'll start to feel like a dull ache around the eye.
Oh, okay.
But yes, that's going to be pretty rare that the pressure is going to be that high. That's going to be a very, very aggressive form of glaucoma. But in the more common forms of glaucoma, you're not going to feel your eye pressure being slightly elevated.
Okay. So you do have to go for your annual eye exam then.
Exactly, exactly.
And
So that's yes,
and don't ignore those symptoms.
yes,
Like
exactly.
if you have any, especially your eyes, like you have 10 fingers, but you only have two eyes.
Exactly.
So,
Yes.
so
And
don't
yes,
ignore
I
those.
do think that eye care is often overlooked, but I mean, that's is my bread and butter. So I might be a little biased.
Okay, so we do have two questions from Team Live Chat that I want to get to. I know we have a number of our own, Jeff, so I think we have to pick like one of the ones that we want to ask to keep in time with our show. So one thing that came from Marisol and she had a lot of sad emojis after this. So even if you have a healthy lifestyle, is it normal to develop cataracts as we age?
It is, yes. So even the healthiest, fittest people will get a cataract someday. So usually cataracts or the cloudiness of the lens naturally starts to happen in your late 50s, early 60s. Everyone's a little different, but yes, so I always say that cataracts are just as natural as wrinkles and gray hairs. It's going to be normal. We will all get cataracts someday. So even if you have a healthy lifestyle, you wear UV protection, you will all still get cataracts someday, but everyone is different. So again, a typical healthy adult in the United States, the average age of needing cataract surgery is in like your early to mid 70s. So, it's not something we'd have to worry about in our youth.
Our youth, I love that. Our youth, Jeff, we are still youthful.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so from Ava Evangelista, how often should we be getting eye exams for both people with pre-existing eye problems and otherwise healthy people? Is it still 1 year?
I would say every 12 months is always a safe schedule to go. So even healthy adults who are non-diabetic, if you wear glasses, get your yearly check because that way you can confirm that your prescription is the same. Diabetics, every single year, they need to get their eyes checked because again, diabetic retinopathy could be caught even though you don't know it's occurring. And then like other conditions, like if you are a glaucoma patient and you're on glaucoma drops, those patients are followed a little bit more carefully. So like every 6 months, every 12 months. But essentially, if there's any pre-existing conditions like diabetes or hypertension, I would recommend 1 year.
Okay, we kind of have an advanced question here. Jeff, you might know this person. Maan Fernandez
Oh, I
asks,
think I know her. Yeah.
after having LASIK, what steps should she take to maintain eye health and prevent vision from deteriorating again? I have read that at a certain age, your vision is going to deteriorate anyway.
That's correct.
So, okay.
Yes. So all my patients who get LASIK in their 20s and 30s, they're going to have great visual outcome for a while. I would say in our mid 40s is when the natural deterioration of our near vision starts to occur. It's a process called presbyopia, where our close range vision starts to kind of slowly slow down a little bit. So patients who got their LASIK done in their 20s and 30s, they will be farsighted, and then at some point their close range vision will start to slightly decline. It's a gradual process, but there's not really anything we can do to reverse the process of presbyopia. It will also occur for all of us because all of our focusing systems will slow down in our mid 40s. But it's not anything that you can do to prevent the vision from slowing down, but we can do, obviously we talked about taking breaks from our screens, things like that, practicing good like ergonomics in the workplace so that our eyes are feeling less tired. But it's not something that we can avoid. We'll all need maybe like reading glasses or bifocals someday. So it's fine. It's natural. We all just have to accept it.
But today is not the day, thankfully. One day, but not today. All right, so Jeff, I'm going to toss it to you. I think we have time for two questions, and then we have to go on to our next segment.
Okay, so very quickly, Zafan, these thumbs up, thumbs down,
I'm gonna say thumbs sideways.
sideways. Okay. Okay,
I
so
yes, I'm again. If it makes you happy, if you feel like it works, and if it makes you feel comfortable, I will not tell you to stop using it.
Okay.
okay, so it's not hurting anything.
Not
It's
hurting
okay,
your
but not.
eyes.
Yeah.
No, not hurting your eyes at all. I see like a small tint on it, and that tint also can maybe just make the light from your laptop or the light from your computer appear less harsh. So that's fine. Yeah.
And that's helpful. That because that's my follow up. What about those sunglasses that have different color lenses? Are they beneficial, or should we just get like the standard black
Yeah, so
polarized?
usually the sunglasses, they'll give you options like a dark brown or like a dark gray. Um, both of those are fine, and you'll even
So not
find
pink.
pink as long as there's UV protection.
Oh, I see.
If you even get like a cheap pair from the dollar store and it says there's UV protection, like UVA, UVB, then it will work just fine. I will say for patients who are more symptomatic for glare, then polarized sunglasses will be the best at reducing glare. So, you have people who are like fishers and they're always on the water, and there's always a glare that reflects back from the water. So polarized lenses will work for my fishing, my fishermen and things like that. So I would say polarized lenses are the best for reducing glare, but anything that has UV protection in it will suffice no matter the shade of the lenses.
Okay, Jeff, do we have time for one more? We gotta move
Yeah.
on.
No, getting the move on from BTS, so I think
All
we have to
right,
move
all right. Let's
on.
let's go to Zafan for her shout outs and make sure we don't have that. We don't miss that part.
Yeah, sure. I'd like to shout out my current practice. I work at a practice in Delaware called Simon Eye Associates. So if you are ever in Delaware and need an eye exam, come find me. I work in Wilmington, Delaware. Shout out to my alma mater, Illinois College of Optometry, where I went to school, graduated 2019. I miss Chicago a lot. And then lastly, shout out to my mom. She had a birthday this week. So love you, Mom.
Oh, thanks for that. All right, Jeff, let's move on to what do we have time for?
Okay, are we going to activity updates?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, so our activity updates, and we don't need to do the bumper. We only have one anyway. This weekend there is the Binhi meeting, so if you are under the age of 18, there is the meeting for you, and the topic should be very interesting. Okay, and as usual, please check with your local congregation for the details on local events and the daily Bible study schedule. And now we have CFO in action.
CFO in action.
The Kadiwa members in the District of New Jersey Church of Christ gathered for their monthly meeting. The event began with a thought-provoking video presentation from the district, addressing the pressing topic of successfully navigating huge challenges in today's world. The video delved into the realities of peer pressure, the influence of social media, and the intricacies of relationships, offering valuable insights and practical advice. As a young congregation watched and engaged with the video, they are encouraged to reflect on their own experiences and challenges, fostering a sense of community and shared understanding. Through this event, the Church of Christ provided a supportive platform for its youth to navigate the complexities of today's world, empowering them with the wisdom and resilience needed to overcome life's obstacles. The Binhi members in the District of New Jersey Church of Christ recently organized a vibrant Youth Friendship Day, fostering camaraderie and spiritual growth among brethren. The event was a resounding success, featuring an array of engaging activities including exciting games, a fun-filled photo booth, and a delicious spread of food. The day's festivities began with moments of reflection, including a heartfelt prayer session that brought everyone together in spirit. Through fellowship and merriment, the young congregation strengthened its bonds, created lasting memories, and reaffirmed its commitment to the faith community. Led by Assistant District Minister Brother Ruben Bustos, and the brethren in the District of New Jersey continue to be zealous in all of the activities launched by the church administration. This was our CFO in action this past week. From the District of New Jersey, this is Sister Shay Diane Apalacio. We'll have more on the CFO in action next week. See ya!
Diane, and thanks, Marisol, for that. Just one quick question to Zafan, for our families with small children who may not yet be able to talk. Is there a way for you to diagnose them for eye correction if they have no verbal skills?
Absolutely. Actually, children are recommended to have an eye exam as early as 6 months. There's not really much you can do at 6 months except for make sure that the baby or the infant is able to fixate and follow. But for nonverbal toddlers, nonverbal school age children, definitely a dilated exam of child's eyes can tell us really a lot about what their prescription may be or refractive error may be. So there are definitely ways. I personally see children age 4 and up, but anyone who has a special needs child or a nonverbal child can see their pediatric ophthalmologist. Usually, like children's hospitals will have an ophthalmology department to see anyone as young as 6 months if need be.
That's great. So there's no reason to wait. And also for adults who may have medical issues where they can't speak. All right. So that brings us to the end of our show, Jeff. We had to go.
Okay, yeah, it always goes so fast. And that's it for today's show. So thank you to everyone who tuned in and learned about eye care. And thank you, Zafai. It's always great seeing you. All right.
Thanks for
If you
having me.
found, always great having you on. All right. So, viewers and listeners, if you found value in our discussion today, please like and subscribe for more content like this. And if you think this episode would be helpful to someone you know, please share the link with them.
All right, and before we go, we'd like to thank our church administration for their continued support to INCRadio and allowing us to have this platform where we can stay connected and learn together. We especially thank our beloved executive minister, Brother Eduardo Manalo, and our SEPC president and CFO coordinator, Brother Angelo Manalo. We'd also like to thank our INCRadio station manager, Brother Wally Tarai.
Before we say goodbye, we again thank Zafan and thank our viewers and listeners near and far for taking the time to watch this episode on Eyecare. So take care of your eyes and see you again on the next episode.
Bye, everybody. Don't forget to wash your hands.
This is INC Radio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth.